guys, I decided to try re-recording my Kingdom Hearts Final Mix full journal reading. Cause the last time I tried this, I failed to record the game audio. I was only able to record the commentary audio, which fucking sucked. Also note that my sister brought home a bug from school, and she's over it already, and my mom and I are suffering from it, so I'll be coughing a lot. Anyway, on to Chronicles. We have Sora's story. The power of Kairi's heart was what saved Sora. The strong bond between them became a light that pulled him back from the darkness. Promising Kairi he would come back, Sora returned to Hollow Bastion to seal the final keyhole and save Riku. The keyhole was sealed, but Ansem and Riku were nowhere to be found. Ansem had left to fulfill his final plan. Sora and company followed him to a world shrouded in darkness. Destroying Ansem could restore all the worlds taken by the Heartless, but it would also mean those worlds being disconnected as they once were. Once every world was isolated, let me read this thing again. Once every world was isolated, divided from the others by impassable walls. The power of darkness demolished those walls. If the walls return, traveling to other worlds will no longer be possible. Sora may never see his friends again. Still, he's resolved to fight his way into the very core of darkness where Ansem lies in wait. He believes no matter how deep the darkness, a light shines within. Wonderland. After falling through a deep hole, Sora and company arrived in Wonderland and followed a white rabbit all the way to the Queen of Hearts castle. There they witnessed a trial in which the unreasonable queen falsely accused Alice. Angered by this injustice, Sora rushed in and challenged the queen. He and his friends found evidence proving Alice's innocence, but the queen simply accused them next, and ordered her card soldiers to seize them. After fighting them off, Sora noticed that Alice had disappeared from her cage. While looking for her, he and his friends ran into the Trick Master. They defeated the powerful monster, but Alice's whereabouts remained unknown. Olympus Coliseum. Hades plotted to destroy Sora and Hercules, but failed. First, Cloud failed to carry out his orders, then Cerberus was defeated, but Hades did not give up on his goal. To rule the world as the King of Darkness. He hosted the Hades Cup to deal with Sora personally. Overcoming tough trials, Sora and company defeated Hades. Deep Jungle. Sora and his friends sought to reach the gorillas' nesting grounds, but Clayton, possessed by the Heartless, stood in their way. He abducted Jane and hunted down the gorillas. In their final showdown, Sora and company defeated Clayton and an invisible monster named Stealth Sneak. Sora finally gained Kerchak's trust and was allowed to go to the nesting grounds. Tarzan led everyone to a cavern with a mysterious keyhole. When Sora sealed it with a keyblade, he found an unusual gummy block. Although Sora and the others couldn't find their friends, the new gummy block should help them get to another world. Sora, Donald, and Goofy said goodbye to Tarzan and the others and continued with their journey. Agrabah. Hoping to take over Agrabah, Jafar took Jasmine and the lamp with him to the Cave of Wonders. Sora and his friends followed him there, where they encountered Maleficent. They learned that Maleficent and Jafar were rounding up the 7 princesses, Jasmine being one, with the power to open the final keyhole. With Genie at his side, Jafar attacked Sora and company. Somehow, they defeated him, but could not find Jasmine. She had been abducted by someone else. They returned to Agrabah, where Aladdin freed Genie with his final wish and asked him to help Sora find Jasmine. Genie agreed and joined the party. Monstro. Inside Monstro, Sora and his friends ran into Pinocchio and Geppetto. Pinocchio wandered off, and when Sora found him, he also found Riku. It was a strange reunion, and Riku suddenly ran off with Pinocchio. Baffled by Riku's behavior, Sora followed them. Amidst all the chaos, a Heartless attacked Pinocchio and left him lying motionless. Did it consume his heart? No way. His heart survived and will remain strong as long as I do my duty as his conscience. Pinocchio awakened when I called his name. Riku fled the scene, leaving Sora bewildered by the change in his friend. 100 Acre Woods. Sora was whisked away to the world of the 100 Acre Wood, inside a book in Merlin's house. There he met Winnie the Pooh, who said all his friends had vanished. Some of the book's pages had been torn out, taking his friends with them. Sora collected all the scattered pages and brought Pooh and his friends back together. A happy ending. Atlantica. Ariel, a princess of Atlantica, yearned to go to other worlds. But her dream could not be realized as King Triton, her father, forbade such notions. Ursula took advantage of this to coax Ariel into leading her to Triton's trident, which she then seized for herself. To atone for her mistake, Ariel went to Ursula's lair with Sora, Donald, and Goofy to retrieve the trident. After her mores were defeated, Ursula used the trident's power to become a giant, but was vanquished in the end. With the trident's power, Sora found the keyhole and sealed it. Halloween Town. Jack, the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town, worked with Dr. Finkelstein and created a heart to control the Heartless for the Halloween festival. Oogie Boogie, plotting to use the heart to take over Halloween Town, had Lock, Shock, and Barrel steal it. When Sora and company arrived at his manor, Oogie Boogie tried to summon a swarm of Heartless with the heart, but failed. Evidently, the heart was incomplete. After Sora and his friends defeated him, Oogie Boogie turned into a monster, becoming one with his manor. However, he was beaten yet again and disappeared along with the manor. Sora sealed the keyhole in Halloween Town. Neverland. Sora and company, trapped inside Hook's ship, searched for Kairi and Wendy, who were locked away somewhere below deck. When they found them, they learned that something was wrong with Kairi. She remained dormant, as if she had lost her heart. Just when Sora thought Kairi was within reach, Riku snatched her away. Sora and the others pursued them to the main deck, where Hook and his men waited. With Peter Pan's help, they defeated the pirates, but Riku and Kairi were nowhere to be found. For now, Sora could only hope to see her again. When he sealed the keyhole at the clock tower, Sora found a gummy block. Will he be able to find Kairi again with this new block? With Tinkerbell now in the party, Sora and his friends continued with their journey. For whatever reason, there aren't any Hollow Bastion or End of the World Chronicles. Well, I'm not really expecting an End of the World Chronicle because there's no post-game in Kingdom Hearts 1 or Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. But Hollow Bastion should at least have a chronicle. Really quickly, we're going to look through the Dalmatians. I have all 99. I have all the Trinities. And I have all the mini-games completed. You only really need to complete one from each world's mini-game. But I did all of them because reasons. So these are my Jungle Slider times. For Green Serpent, Splash Tunnel, Green Serpent, Splash Tunnel, Jade Spiral, Panic Fall, and the last one that I didn't know about until recently, Shadow Cavern. These are my times for the Vine Jumps. The Olympic gold medals go to Sora. Obviously, they were no challenge. This is for the jump course, the trap course, the acrobatic course, the expert course. Pooh's Honey Hunt, yeah, just 135. Block Tigger, 255 points. 21 yards on the first try, which is exactly, like, what you need specifically to get Eeyore's fucking tail back. No more, no less, which is stupid. Tigger's Giant Pot, and Pooh's Muddy Path. Olympus Coliseum Time Trials, Fill Cup. This is time remaining, by the way, not like time total for how long it took. So Fill Cup, Pegasus Cup, Hercules Cup, Hades Cup. And now we're going to read characters. I want to read Anthem Report last, since that's like the most important lore in the game. Sora. Sora's the one who fights the Heartless. Upon reclaiming the Keyblade from his rival Riku, Sora sacrificed his heart to free Kairi and became a Heartless. Kairi's deep feelings for Sora restored him. Now he must confront Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness. Ugh. My voice to me definitely sounds like I have a shitload of snot in my throat. Like wet snot in my throat. Due to this bug that my little sister brought home from high school. It's weird. It doesn't feel good. Ugh. And I still have Recom Let's Play episodes to record today. Riku is... When Kairi lost her heart, Riku allied himself with Maleficent to save her. Riku is actually the rightful master of the Keyblade, but once he chose darkness over light, the weapon chose Sora instead. Ansem exploited Riku's weakness of heart and possessed him. Sora, and Riku always hung out together. When their island vanished, Kairi lost her heart. It turned out that it was hidden within Sora's. As one of the princesses with the power to unlock the secret keyhole, Kairi restored Sora's heart when he was turned into a Heartless. Mickey Mouse is the king of Disney Castle. He set out to learn more about the darkness and left instructions for Donald and Goofy to find and follow the Key Bearer. No one knows where King Mickey is now, but they are determined to find him. He made his debut in Steamboat Willie, 1928. And because we don't know what he looks like except in the one of the final cutscenes, and there's no post-game, yeah, can't select that. Donald Duck is a royal magician, skilled in magic but short-tempered and stubborn. Because Mickey said to follow the Key Bearer, he once left Sora to follow Riku, but friendship soon led him back to Sora. Donald made his screen debut in The Wise Little Hen, 1934. Can't wait for him to shake his butt like crazy in Kingdom Hearts 3, because Kingdom Hearts is finally going to have decent idle animations, I guess. Goofy is the captain of the Royal Knights. He avoids fighting whenever possible, Mickey's most loyal subject. Because Mickey said to follow the Key Bearer, he once left Sora to follow Riku, but friendship soon led him back to Sora. Goofy made his first screen appearance in Mickey's Revue, 1932. Did I say that right? I hope so. Minnie Mouse is the queen of Disney Castle, ruling in Mickey's absence. I, Jiminy Cricket, am accompanying Donald and Goofy as the royal chronicler at her request. Queen Minnie is more concerned than anyone about the king's disappearance. Minnie made her screen debut in Steamboat Willie, 1928. And for whatever reason, you can't move the left and right of Minnie's thing. I think that she's the only character that won't let you do that. Daisy Duck is Donald's sweetheart. She's helping Minnie while the others look for King Mickey. She has Donald under her thumb and does a good job of keeping him in line. She originally appeared as Daisy in Mr. Duck Steps Out, 1940. So you can rotate this one, why not Minnie? That makes no sense. Pluto is Mickey's faithful dog. Pluto is more than a pet. He and Mickey are bound by strong ties of loyalty. Pluto set out with the others to find his master. Will that famous note of his lead him to Mickey? Pluto originally appeared in the Chain Gang in 1930. Chip is one of the Kingdom's specialists, helps maintain the gummy ship which can travel to any destination. Chip is more serious and diligent than his easygoing, playful partner, Dale. Chip and Dale's first appearance was in Private Pluto in 1943. Dale is one of the Kingdom specialists, helps maintain the gummy ship, which can travel to any destination. Compared to the more serious Chip, he takes a happy-go-lucky approach to life. Chip and Dale's first appearance was in Private Pluto, 1943. Huey is one of Donald's 3 nephews. Huey is the leader, and he keeps playful Dewey and laid-back Louie in line. You can spot Huey by his trademark red cap and his red turtleneck shirt. Huey began tormenting his Uncle Donald and Donald's nephews in 1938. Dewey is one of Donald's 3 nephews, always wears a blue cap, cheerful and easygoing. He works with his brothers in a shop in Traverse Town. Dewey began tormenting his Uncle Donald and Donald's nephews in 1938. Louie is one of Donald's 3 nephews, works with his brothers in a shop in Traverse Town. Gentle and carefree, but notices a lot of things others miss. To find him, look for a green cap. Louie began tormenting his Uncle Donald and Donald's nephews in 1938. Merlin is a great sorcerer living on the outskirts of Traverse Town. Merlin's wisdom and magic powers rank second to none, and he teaches Sora and his friends about magic. He has a mysterious bag that can hold anything, no matter how large. Merlin first tutored Arthur in how to be a king in The Sword in the Stone, 1963. The fairy godmother is a powerful but generous and good-hearted fairy who helps Sora and his friends, slightly absent-minded, but an expert at magic. She gives Sora and the others lessons in magic as well as advice on their journey. She first appeared as Cinderella's fairy godmother in Cinderella, 1950. Oop. Didn't want to do that. Pongo is a brave and intelligent Dalmatian. With his mate Perdita, he looks after 99 Dalmatian puppies. Quick-witted, Pongo is an expert at escaping from tight spots. Pongo was first spotted on-screen in 101 Dalmatians, 1961. The boys have red collars and the girls have blue collars. Pongo is a beautiful Dalmatian. With their partner Pongo, she takes care of 99 Dalmatian puppies. Perdita will brave any danger to protect her spotted charges. Perdita was first spotted on-screen in 101 Dalmatians, 1961. 99 puppies are Pongos and Perditas. When they work together, they can be tough to beat. Ever since their world was destroyed by the darkness, they've been trying to get back together again. They were first spotted on-screen in 101 Dalmatians in 1961. For whatever reason, you're only able to look at the male model of these puppies. You don't get to look at the females with the blue collars. The brooms are enchanted and have a life of their own. They tidy up, maintain the gummy ship, do house repairs, wait on others, just about anything useful. They swept onto the screen in Fantasia 1940. Leon is a swordsman who wields the gunblade. His real name? Squall Leonhart. He escaped to Traverse Town when the Heartless raided his homeworld. To part with his old self, a man who had been helpless to stop them, he changed his name. Since meeting the king, who has been so vigilant against the Heartless, Leon has sought the truth behind the key. Final Fantasy VIII. Yuffie is a female ninja who escaped to Traverse Town when her homeworld was taken by the Heartless. She stays strong and cheerful in any situation. She works with Leon and Aerith to unravel the secret of the key. Final Fantasy VII. And lots of skin, because why not? It's anime girls. Nothing wrong with that. Aerith lost her home to the Heartless at a very young age. Beneath her gentle disposition lies a strong will and a firm sense of duty. Many are naturally drawn to her. Aerith worked with Leon and Yuffie to learn more about the Heartless and the Key. Final Fantasy VII. Cloud was a fighter hired by Hades to compete in the Colosseum. Despite his association with Hades, his heart remains untouched by the Heartless. Cloud keeps very much to himself, which makes him something of an enigma. What is he seeking? Final Fantasy VII. Sephiroth, once known as the greatest of swordsmen, his whereabouts have been unknown for some time. He challenged Sora to a one-on-one duel. No one knows why he has suddenly returned. Apparently, he and Cloud have crossed paths before. Final Fantasy VII. Cid is the owner of an accessory shop in Traverse Town, a highly skilled engineer and a first-rate pilot. When the Heartless invaded his world, he escaped to Traverse Town on a gummy ship he'd built himself. He is an expert on gummy ships. This is the Final Fantasy VII iteration of Cid, Cid being the always returning character in the Final Fantasy series ever since, like, the first one. So there will always be an iteration of him in every Final Fantasy, pretty much. Tidus is a cheerful, self-confident boy who lived on the Destiny Islands. He considers himself a champ at everything. Nobody knows what happened to him after his island disappeared. Final Fantasy X. He's actually a boy compared to the actual Tidus, which is either an adult or a teenager in frickin' Final Fantasy X, I think. Selphie is a spunky girl who lived on the Destiny Islands. She is rather impulsive and quite the romanticist. Nobody knows what happened to her after her island disappeared. Final Fantasy VIII. They censored her panties in the Western releases. Wakka is a boy who lived on the Destiny Islands. He looks out for Tidus and Selphie like a big brother. Nobody knows what happened to this hippie after his island disappeared. Final Fantasy X. Moogles escaped to Traverse Town when the Heartless invaded their home. They know how to combine various items to form new ones. Many, many Final Fantasies. Snow White, a beautiful princess, gentle and pure as snow. She is one of the princesses needed to open the final keyhole, and was captured by the Heartless. Her world has already been swallowed by the darkness. The fair-skinned princess first appeared in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, 1937. Cinderella is a hard-working young girl who's often bullied by her stepmother and stepsisters. She is one of the princesses needed to open the final keyhole, and was captured by the Heartless. Her world has already been destroyed. Prince Charming first swept her away in Cinderella, 1950. Aurora is a young woman with a lovely voice. She is loved by 3 good fairies and cursed by Maleficent. The sorceress captured Aurora to help open the final keyhole. She had her first encounter with Maleficent in Sleeping Beauty, 1959. Belle is a brave and intelligent young woman who understands the Beast's true nature. She's one of the 7 princesses needed to open the final keyhole. She and the Beast have lost their world to the darkness. She appeared at the Beast's castle for the first time in Beauty and the Beast, 1991. 8 years before I was born. Roughly. Beast is a prince who was changed into a hideous beast because of his selfish heart. Belle has helped heal the loneliness he suffered due to his ugliness. To save Belle, he made his way to Hollow Bastion alone. He was first enchanted by Belle in Beauty and the Beast in 1991. Maleficent is a sorceress of awesome power. She tried to use the Heartless for her own evil ends, but the Heartless were actually using her. She turned into a huge dragon when cornered by Sora and his friends. She first appeared to curse Aurora in Sleeping Beauty, 1959. Dragon. Maleficent became a huge dragon when the Keyblade released the darkness in her heart. The dragon wielded both Maleficent's power and the terrible forces of darkness. Maleficent's powerful alter ego first appeared in Sleeping Beauty, 1959. Ansem, as a researcher and ruler of his world, he studied the Heartless and delved into the many secrets of the world. While studying the heart and the darkness within it, he was possessed by darkness and ultimately destroyed his own world. He sacrificed his body to attain great power and later possessed Riku's to regain a physical presence. Failure to stop him means the end of all worlds. Rip his voice actor. Original voice actor. He died before Kingdom Hearts 2, I think. Either that or before Recom. Unknown is a mysterious figure who appeared in Hollow Bastion. Not much is known about him other than that. But we'll learn more about these fuckers in Recom and Cage 2. Already in the process of my Recom Proud Mode 100% Sora and Riku Story Let's Play plus Platinum Trophy. The character section is the longest read, unfortunately. Dumbo is a baby circus elephant. He was taunted because of his huge ears, but his talent for flying made him the star of the circus. Descend with the square button, hold down the triangle button for splash attack. It costs 3 MP. He first flew onto the screen in Dumbo, 1941. Bambi is a young deer, son of the great stag who rules the forests. He prances around and gives you items. The more foes Sora defeats, the better the items become. The type of items he gives varies depending on the area. Costs 1 MP. The first prince was born in Bambi, 1941. Mushu is one of the guardian spirits of an ancient clan. He was banished by the other guardians because of his foolish ways. Though small, he has the power of a great dragon. Press the triangle button for fire breath attack. Costs 3 MP to summon. This ancient dragon heated things up in Mulan, 1998. Roughly a year or more before I was born, in 1999. Simba is the leader of the Pride. He rules over the other animals of the Pride lands, his Savannah Kingdom. Hold down the triangle button to charge up his power. When the command changes to Proud Roar, release the button to unleash the attack. Hold the button down longer for more power. Costs 2 MP. He roared onto the scene in The Lion King, 1994. Kingdom Hearts 2 certainly retcons that lore about him being the leader. Alice fell down a rabbit hole into Wonderland, arrested on suspicion of trying to steal the Queen's heart. Sora and his friends proved her innocence, but the Heartless captured her as part of their plan to open the final keyhole. She fell down the rabbit hole in Alice in Wonderland, 1951. The Queen of Hearts is the Queen of Wonderland, who lives in a castle with decks and decks of card soldiers. Selfish and short-tempered, she beheads anyone who crosses her. She thinks Alice tried to steal her heart. She struck terror in her heart in Alice in Wonderland 1951. So basically, she's a leftist. A crazy, feminist, leftist, blah blah blah. Or at least that's very relatable to the current political climate when it comes to the leftists. The heart versions of her card soldiers are spear-carrying guards who serve the Queen of Hearts. They fear the short-tempered queen and are careful not to irritate her. They marched onto the scene in Alice in Wonderland 1951. The spade cards in her army are troops with heavy axes who serve the Queen of Hearts. They feared their short-tempered queen and are careful not to irritate her. They marched onto the scene in Alice in Wonderland 1951. The White Rabbit is a loyal servant to the Queen of Hearts. He led Sora and his friends to the Queen of Hearts castle. He wasn't late for his appearance in Alice in Wonderland 1951. The Cheshire Cat is a mysterious, grinning cat who talks in riddles and can appear and disappear at will. He loves to mislead and confuse. He entered with a big smile in Alice in Wonderland 1951. The doorknob is a talking doorknob in the door to Wonderland. To enter, you must turn him, and one good turn deserves another, as he would say. Doorknob was the only character in Alice in Wonderland 1951 who didn't first appear in the original story. Oh yeah, you can't turn this guy either. I guess that makes sense, unlike with many. Hercules is a legendary hero with godlike strength. He's the son of the gods Zeus and Hera, but not a god himself. The people regard Hercules as a true hero. He went from zero to hero in Hercules 1997. Phil the Satyr is a veteran trainer of heroes and Herc's mentor. These days he's very busy running the Colosseum and choosing competitors suitable for the games. He came out of retirement in Hercules 1997. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his full first name. It's just, no. Hades is the Lord of the Underworld. He's using the Heartless to try to take over the world. Hades wants Herc and Sora out of the way, but all his schemes against Sora and the others seem to end in failure. He heated things up in Hercules 1997. Cerberus is the guardian of the entrance to the underworld and Hades' loyal servant. Herc defeated him once, but Hades has brought him back to fight Sora and his friends. He first stood watch for Hades in Hercules 1997. The Rock Titan is an immortal giant in the form of a stone crag. He has 2 heads, but can only think with one at a time. Defeated once by Hercules, he's now on the loose again, courtesy of Hades. He shook the scene in Hercules 1997. The Ice Titan was defeated once by Hercules, but he received new powers from Hades and resurfaced. His body is made of large blocks of seemingly impregnable ice, but the ice shaping his face is quite fragile. Naturally, he is weak against fire. No, he's not. Even with magic boosting accessories and shit, Firaga does no damage. He shook the scene in Hercules 1997. Tarzan is a young man raised from infancy by gorillas. His gorilla mother is Kala. Tarzan spoke only the language of the apes until he met Jane. Since then, he's learning to speak English at an astonishing rate. He swung onto the screen in Tarzan 1999, the year I was born. Jane Porter is a naturalist who's in the jungle with Clayton, her guide, to study gorillas. She met Tarzan in the jungle and is gradually teaching him about human ways. She's courageous and will face any danger for her research. Exploring the jungle, she encountered Tarzan, 1999. Clayton is a veteran hunter, Jane's guide on her expedition to the jungle. He thinks of animals only as prey. His lust for power and the darkness in his heart attracted the Heartless, and they used him for their own evil purposes. He first set his sights on the apes in Tarzan, 1999. Turk is a young female gorilla and Tarzan's close friend. She is protective of the other young gorillas and acts as their leader. Unlike the other gorillas, her curiosity about humans is greater than her fear of them. She was up to some monkey business in Tarzan, 1999. Kerchak is the boss of the gorilla pack. He was against letting Tarzan join the group, but Kala's resolve won him over. Kerchak worries that Tarzan's contact with people will bring danger to the gorilla community. He established himself as leader of the pack in Tarzan, 1999. Kala is the gorilla who found Tarzan in the jungle. She has always helped and defended him, even when he was scorned by the others. Kala is not happy about Tarzan's contact with people, but she knows it's important to him. She was second banana in Tarzan, 1999. Sabor is a leopard feared by all who live in the jungle, and an enemy of Tarzan and the gorillas. Sabor is a cunning hunter who targets the weak and helpless. He stalked onto the scene in Tarzan, 1999. Now, what I don't remember is if Sabor was also technically the enemy of Clayton, or if he was allied with Clayton, because they're both enemies in this game, and I haven't seen the movie in forever, so I don't remember. Aladdin is a young man living in Agrabah. He helped Sora defeat Jafar and use his last wish to release Genie from the lamp. Aladdin asks Sora and friends to help save Jasmine, who has been abducted. He stole the scene in Aladdin, 1992. Genie is the spirit of the magic lamp, who has been freed by Aladdin with his third wish. Genie has joined forces with Sora and friends to rescue Jasmine from captivity. He will attack all locked-on targets with Showtime. Costs 2 MP. He granted our wish by appearing in Aladdin, 1992. Jasmine is the spirited princess of Agrabah. Longing for a life of freedom, she slipped away from the palace and encountered Aladdin, who she quickly grew fond of. As one of the princesses with the power to open the keyhole, she was abducted by Jafar and the Heartless. She appeared in Aladdin, 1992. Jafar is the vizier of Agrabah. He joined forces with Maleficent and tried to control the Heartless. He gained control of the lamp and became a powerful genie, but was defeated by Sora and friends. He played the villain in Aladdin, 1992. Jafar Genie is his genie form, blah blah blah. With his last wish, he became an all-powerful genie himself, but he forgot that all genies share the same fate, to serve whoever controls their lamp. In the end, his lamp became his prison. He played the villain in Aladdin, 1992. Abu is Aladdin's faithful furry sidekick. Abu's size and ability make him valuable in tight spots. He's got a weakness for jewels and treasure. Enemies around them, he can't think of anything else. He was all monkey business in Aladdin, 1992. Iago is Jafar's cunning, crotchety parrot. He's Jafar's eyes and ears as he flies around Agrabah, spying on his master's enemies. Iago takes after Jafar with a penchant for intrigue and evil. He squawked around in Aladdin, 1992. Carpet is a magical, flying carpet, loyal to Aladdin. Carpet can carry passengers over the vastness of the desert at great speed. The Heartless had Carpet pinned to the floor under a chest, which suggests a primate level of intelligence. In the Heartless, that's very interesting. He enchanted us in Aladdin, 1992. Pinocchio was crafted by Geppetto and brought to life by the Blue Fairy. He'd have lost his heart to the Heartless if I hadn't come to the rescue. Now he's living in Traverse Town with Geppetto and working hard to become a real boy. There were no strings to hold him down in Pinocchio, 1940. Geppetto is the kind, gentle clockmaker. Sora and friends helped him escape from Monster's belly. These days he's living in Traverse Town and looking forward to the day Pinocchio becomes a real boy. He provided shelter in Pinocchio, 1940. Jiminy Cricket. That's me, the cricket who keeps Pinocchio to the straight and narrow. I'm along the quest as the royal chronicler. Look for me in Pinocchio 1940. Sure, you fucking sellout. Ariel is Triton's youngest daughter. Ursula tricked her into helping steal his trident. With help from Sora and the others, all was put right. Still, she'll never stop dreaming of exploring the world outside her father's palace. Her voice enchanted us in The Little Mermaid, 1989. How do mermaids even have sex? That's like one unanswered question. A mystery of fiction. How do they have sex? King Triton is the king of Atlantica, who is backed by the power of his trident. He has forbidden Ariel to have any contact with outsiders, which only led her to yearn to grow even stronger. How does that make sense? Okay. He ruled the seas in The Little Mermaid 1989. Ursula deceived Ariel and stole the trident to take over Atlantica. Using its power, she became an enormous monster and battled Sora, Goofy, and Donald. She appeared in The Little Mermaid 1989. Ursula is Sebastian's Sebastian is Triton's consort master, a musical genius. The little crab is also responsible for keeping an eye on Ariel to ensure her safety. Whenever she leaves the palace, he's on pins and needles. He conducted himself in The Little Mermaid, 1989. Flounder is Ariel's trusted friend. Flounder will do anything for her. He's small and not exactly brave, but he'll never leave Ariel's side, even when it means facing danger. He appeared in The Little Mermaid, 1989. Jetsam is Ursula's lackey, along with Flotsam. An evil moray eel, Jetsam is a smooth talker who loves to deceive. His specialty is using empty promises to lure unsuspecting mermen and mermaids into Ursula's clutches. He ran interference for Ursula in The Little Mermaid 1989. Flotsam is Ursula's lackey along with Jetsam, an evil moray eel. Flotsam is a smooth talker who loves to deceive. His specialty is using empty promises to lure unsuspecting mermen and mermaids into Ursula's clutches. He ran interference for Ursula in The Little Mermaid 1989. Probably the most copy-paste, entry in the whole journal. Jack Skellington is the Pumpkin King. He loves to scare people out of their wits. Headstrong, confident, and likes grand gestures. Now he's working night and day to make this year's Halloween festival the greatest ever. He scared up some fun in Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993, a movie of which that I still have not watched every second of. I did not finish that movie. I guess maybe because I got bored watching it with my mom and sister. It's neither a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie. You can watch it for both. Sally is Dr. Finkelstein's creation. She's patched together from parts that sometimes come off and move about on their own. She loves Jack and tries to steer him in the right direction, though it doesn't always work. She appeared in Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. Oogie Boogie is the villain who tried to take over Halloween Town. The heart he stole from Dr. Finkelstein attracted the Heartless, and the result was his doom. He came apart at the seams in Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. He looks like the guy that would, on Halloween, just run around TPing everyone's houses. Dr. Finkelstein is the mad scientist who created a heart, in air quotes, to help Jack control the Heartless's dancing. Sally is another of his creations. She helps him around the lab, but she'd much rather spend time with Jack. He created some scares in Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. Zero is Jack's ghost dog. He comes out of his grave whenever Jack calls. He's very loyal to his master and loves it when Jack plays with him. He loyally followed Jack in Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. I'm just remembering the stupid gimmick in the stages that required Zero for 358 Days Over 2 and Halloween Town, where you gave him physical bones to, like, chew on, so he would find Heartless for you. That made no sense. That's, like, a good example of ludonarrative dissonance. Luck is the ringleader of the trio that includes Shock and Barrel. Their walking bathtub helps them get around while they commit all kinds of mischief. They sometimes help Oogie, but they're not really fond of him. He created havoc in Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. Shock, along with Lock and Barrel, is part of Oogie Boogie's plot to take over Halloween Town. Shock is the most cunning member of the trio. She keeps her cool when the other two are losing it. She created havoc in Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. Barrel is a member of the trio that includes Lock and Shock. He's a little slow and often ends up as the butt of his partner's pranks and practical jokes. He created havoc in Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. The mayor is a two-faced mayor of Halloween Town. He switches from his happy face to his sad face depending on his mood, which changes constantly. He's working with Jack to make this year's festival the best ever. He appeared in Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. Peter Pan is a flying boy from Neverland, where no one ever grows up. He can be stubborn, but he's also fearless and has a strong sense of justice. He snuck on board Hook's ship to rescue Wendy, who was kidnapped. He led the Lost Boys in Peter Pan, 1953. Tinker Bell is the little pixie from Neverland that doesn't wear panties. Peter Pan asked her to accompany Sora and his friends on their quest, but she's anxious to see Peter. She can restore the party's HP and prevent Sora from being defeated, though only once. Costs 3 MP. She made us believe in fairies in Peter Pan, 1953. Yeah, I don't believe in fairies, but she's pretty thick for a fairy. Wendy is a dreamy girl whose wish to visit Neverland came true. Peter Pan showed her the way, but she got caught up in Hook's vendetta against Peter and was kidnapped by Hook. She watched over the Lost Boys in Peter Pan, 1953. Captain Hook is the pirate with a grudge against Peter Pan, who caused him to lose his hand to the crocodile. He threw in his lot with Maleficent and the Heartless, but ended up being chased over the horizon by the crocodile. He hooked us in Peter Pan, 1953. Mr. Smee is Hook's first mate. He lives to take orders from Hook, but he's as slow-witted as Hook is obnoxious. He appeared in Peter Pan, 1953. The crocodile is a sea-going reptile big enough to swallow a man whole, and he's always hungry. He got a taste of Hook once and never forgot it. Hook can tell when he's near by the sound of the clock ticking away in his stomach. He had a taste for Captain Hook in Peter Pan, 1953. Winnie the Pooh is a little bear living in a 100-acre wood. His favorite food is honey. Being a bear of very little brain, he's a bit absent-minded. Sometimes he even forgets what it was he was trying to remember. He warmed up the screen in Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, 1966. Piglet is Pooh's best friend in the 100-acre wood. Tiny, timid Piglet is startled by just about anything. When that happens, he covers his eyes with his floppy ears. He appeared on a Wednesday in Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, 1968. Tigger loves to bounce more than anything. Sometimes his bouncing gets out of hand, but he doesn't mean any harm. Beneath that happy-go-lucky exterior beats a sensitive, gentle heart. He bounced onto the scene in Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, 1968. Owl is the wisest resident of the 100-Acre Wood. Whenever anyone has a question he can't answer, he asks Owl, though Owl isn't always right. Owl likes to talk, but sometimes he puts his listeners to sleep. He showed us the wisdom of his ways in Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, 1966. Rabbit is an earnest, hard-working member of the 100-Acre Wood community. He keeps to himself, but lends a hand when others need him. He's not always comfortable around the exuberant Tigger. He appeared in Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, 1966. Eeyore is a timid, retiring donkey that lives in a little house in the roots of a tree. His tail is held on by a tack, but it keeps falling off and getting lost. Now he's wandering the woods, looking for a new home. He reluctantly appeared in Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, 1966. Roo dreams of bouncing as well as Tigger someday. He's mischievous, energetic, and fearless, but grows uneasy when Tigger is not around. He hopped onto the screen in Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, 1966. And now we have 8 pages of Heartless to read. For fuck's sake. Shadows are heartless and emerge from various places. They sneak up to their enemies and strike them with sharp claws. They are extremely tenacious, often chasing their prey to the end. I've defeated 1,704 of them. Giga's shadows are large, heartless, similar to Shadows. Like its predecessor, it's quite persistent and will chase its target around. If it just does the littlest amount of damage to Sora, it will fade out of sheer happiness. And I've defeated 68 of them. Soldiers are heartless and emerge from various places. They are brisk in their movements and rush into their opponents. However, they are not that tenacious. They often appear in numbers, though they lack teamwork. I've defeated exactly 400 of them. Stealth soldiers are stealthy heartless, similar in appearance to Soldier Heartless. It appears alongside other Heartless and deals attacks from afar. Although a troublesome enemy, it shows itself once its weakness is uncovered. By weakness you either mean whacking it till it has low HP, or using stop magic. I've defeated exactly 6, and thankfully that was the only amount that I needed to kill those tedious Heartless. Large bodies are big, round Heartless. They seem tame and laid back, but go berserk when they are angered. With their brute strength, they can inflict great damage, so be on your guard. I've defeated 181 of them. And they added jiggle physics to these guys' bellies in later games. I was about to sneeze, but the sneeze went away. I guess because I was talking. Red Nocturnes are spellcasting Heartless. While hovering about, they attack by casting fire. Having low HP, they keep their distance from their opponents, making them difficult to attack. They absorb fire attacks, which subsequently heals them. I've defeated 793 of them. Blue Rhapsodies are spellcasting Heartless. They approach their enemies by bouncing about and attack with Blizzard and absorb Blizzard attacks. I've defeated 431 of them. Yellow Operas are spellcasting Heartless. Besides attacking with Thunder, they hurl themselves against their enemies with Thunder attacks. They absorb Thunder attacks, which subsequently heals them. I've defeated 682 of them. Oh, and, Blizzard attacks subsequently heal those. Green Requiems are spellcasting Heartless. They heal themselves and other Heartless with Cure. They are slow moving but hover high in the air and absorb most magic attacks, which means that almost all magic in the game, aside from Arrow for example, will deal no damage and will instead heal them. I defeated 236 of them, and thank fuck, I already have the Green Requiem enemy card in Recon, for fuck's sake. Ugh. Black Blades are Heartless that confuse the enemy by creating projections of itself. If the copies are attacked, it will resort to counterattacks and eventually run away. However, if it is attacked directly and relentlessly, it dies. I've defeated 4 of them, which thankfully were the only amount I needed to defeat them. Power Wilds are heartless, resembling a monkey. With great physical strength and agility, they often strike with combination attacks. Avoid close-range battles with them if possible. I've defeated 612 of them. Bouncy Wilds are heartless, resembling monkeys. Unlike Power Wilds, they attack from long range with a slingshot. They scamper about during battle, making them difficult to hit. I've defeated 35 of them, and they also drop bananas, which, if you anyone in your party slips on them, you lose a lot of money that you have to pick back up before it disappears. Snapper Wilds are heartless, resembling monkeys. It roams as it pleases, rarely paying attention to its surroundings. If Sora is spotted, it will call forth numerous allies, all armed with slingshots. I've defeated exactly 100 of these bullshit fuckers. Ugh. Air Soldiers are winged Heartless that fly over their enemies and dive to strike them. Their high endurance and quickness make them tough to beat. I've defeated 328 of these bullshit Heartless. They're not so annoying and stupid on, like, Beginner or Proud because they don't do, like, they don't chunk over 50% of your health in one hit. But they're still dumb. Bandits are Heartless that mostly appear in Agrabah. They can travel under the sand, and they attack deftly with a long sword. Attack them with caution. I've defeated 167 of them. Fat Bandits are Heartless that mostly appear in Agrabah. They are well balanced offensively and defensively. Besides strong physical attacks, they use fire magic, and they block attacks against them. Their movement is their weakness. I've defeated 72 of them. Pot Spiders, one of the only Heartless that does not appear in Recom, are ordinary pots turned into Heartless. They lie in wait as ordinary pots, then reveal themselves and attack when their enemies draw near. I've defeated 232 of these suicide bombers. They do suicide bomb sometimes. I don't know if that's a glitch or if that's like a rare thing that happens. Barrel Spiders are gunpowder barrels turned into Heartless. They charge into their enemies and explode. Any physical impact or fire will set them off. Subsequently, Blizzard Magic, I believe, just blows them up instantly. I've defeated 101 of these. This is probably going to be the hardest to get Heartless enemy card in Recom, so I don't look forward to grinding for this card in post-game. Actually, maybe White Mushrooms are harder. I already have the Black Fungus card, thankfully. The Pot Scorpion is an ordinary pot turned into a Heartless by the power of darkness. Unlike the Pot Spider, its pot is tough as nails. A simple attack won't be enough to make it cry for mercy. It emanates poisonous fumes as it attacks its prey. I've defeated 11 of these guys. Search Ghosts are Heartless and mostly appear in Atlantica. They roam in dark areas and emit light from their eye to target their enemies. They can warp from one place to another. I've defeated 299 of them. The Grand Ghost is a Heartless similar to the Search Ghost, often spotted within Monstro. Actually, it's only in one location of Monstro, and only in Monstro exclusively. Weapon attacks do no damage, only causing it to drop items. Approach the Phantom and use said items for a startling discovery. Defeated 3 of them, and that was like around 3 Mega Elixirs down the drain. Sea Neons are Heartless, resembling a jellyfish. They swim fast and attack in numbers. Overall, they are not tough opponents. I've defeated 133 of them. The Sheltering Zone is a Heartless resembling a jellyfish. You receive damage just from colliding with it. They move slow but break up into many sea neons if struck. They fling their tentacles away to keep their enemies away. I've defeated 38 of them, and if you chunk through all of its HP with magic like fire instead of physical attacks, it doesn't separate into the sea neons. screwdivers, excuse me, are heartless that act with aqua tanks. Unpredictable creatures, dashing forward 1 minute, cowardly retreating the next. They are invigorated by the sparks from aqua tanks and your thunder magic, so that's why turning off Ariel's Thunder Potion is really important. I've defeated 124 of them. Aqua tanks are heartless, resembling a fish that calmly swims the seas. They are often carrying screwdivers, leisurely large creatures that do not attack unless provoked. Defeated 18 of them. Wade Knights are heartless and mostly appear in Halloween Town. Their jerky, dance-like attack moves are fairly easy to dodge, but cause large damage. I've defeated 316 of them. Gargoyles are winged heartless that mostly appear in Halloween Town. They can move from one place to another almost without notice. Since they are prone to sneak attacks, they often get caught off guard by counterattacks. I've defeated 249 of them. The Chimera is a heartless wandering the streets of Halloween Town. Generally a slow-paced creature, it attacks quickly and relentlessly when angered. Armed with various abilities such as summoning gargoyles, one must use this creature's own tricks against it. I've defeated 5 of them. You know, I never really noticed that it had, like, weird green liquid as its, like, feet. The Pirate is a heartless that mostly appears in Neverland. They're quite combative with their swords. They often just focus on the enemies in front, making them vulnerable to attacks from behind. I've defeated 328 of them. The Air Pirates are winged heartless that mostly appear in Neverland. They are extremely combative and are hardly ever caught off guard. They attack with martial arts-like techniques. I've defeated 48 of them. They're also, like, annoying to hit in the air if you're flying as well, because they just fly in circles sometimes. Battleships are heartless that fuse together with a pirate ship. They attack with homing and magic projectiles. Attack them at close range. Or, alternatively, the first thing you do is use gravity magic on their, like, giant flag thing, so that way they stay close to the ground. I've defeated 20 of them. The jet balloon is a heartless similar to the aqua tank. It flies through the air with tremendous speed. Chasing it will lead to a perilous aerial battle as it unloads its missile driver attack, and attacks similar to the screwdriver. Missile diver, I think, is more accurate. They screwed up the typo here, or the spelling here. Its heinous nature attracts them to prey who carry lots of money. I've defeated 8 of them. If this missile diver attack actually hits you, not only does it do a fair amount of damage, but it also saps a shitload of your money. So be careful to make sure that you don't get hit by its missile diver attack when you're above water. The Dark Ball is a heartless born purely out of darkness. Their movements are unpredictable as they often make sudden moves and attacks. I've defeated 761 of them. The Defender is a heartless and mostly appears in Hollow Bastion. They carry an eerie shield with a face that casts fire and blizzard and bites nearby enemies. I've defeated 122 of them. The Wyvern is a giant heartless that attacks from the air. They are quite swift for their size and are hard to attack, especially while they are high in the air. Counterattacking when they come down would be most effective, or you can just use gravity magic on them sometimes, if you have enough MP, and they don't just fly out of its range. I've defeated 144 of them. The Wizards are heartless that attack with various powerful spells. Eludes enemy attacks by teleporting, making them tough to beat. Not if you stunlock them properly. I've defeated 277 of them. The only truly difficult to fight Wizard Heartless in the entire series belong to Recoded. Like, even on something lower than critical mode. Their thunder magic is like fucking bullshit. You need once more if you're going to fight them. That's how stupid they are in terms of design. Behemoths are immensely powerful Heartless. With their large frame, they trample enemies and repel most attacks. Damaging their weak point makes them lose consciousness. Strike them with potent attacks while they are down. I've only defeated one of them, which I believe was the Hollow Bastion one. The destroyed behemoth is a greater behemoth subspecies. It has extraordinary strength, unparalleled to that of the behemoth. However, despite its appearance and size, it shares the same weaknesses as the standard archetype. I've defeated 3 of them, and I'm pretty sure these are only found in the Hades Cup in the Olympus Coliseum. Also, their horn, they're like weak to gravity magic, so if you have a lot of that, use it. The Arch Behemoth is a behemoth subspecies. Although similar in appearance to the behemoth, it lacks their aptitude. However, it shares their strengths and weaknesses. Defeated 13 of them because I had to farm these fuckers in this world, the final worlds, for mithril shards. They're really the only effective source of obtaining mithril shards. The Invisibles are Heartless wielding large swords. These winged Heartless can move freely through the air. Besides their sword, they attack with their tail and wings. With their high attack power, they often defeat their foes quickly. I've defeated 123 of them. Angel Stars are flying Heartless that cast potent spells. They are born of holy spells. They attack from long range with magic. They block physical attacks with their wings, making them difficult to beat. Also, they become like immune to gravity magic and stuff when they're in their defense thing, when they put their wings in front of them. So they're even immune to magic with their wings, I think. I've defeated 85 of them. They're just annoying. More annoying than the Invisibles. Neo Shadows are Heartless that travel in packs. Combining their powers allows them to attack Sora while also healing themselves. Leaving even just one alive will result in a never-ending battle. I've defeated 28 of them. The actual, and not 28 times for like the actual final one that drops the synthesis materials, but... White Mushrooms are non-attacking friendly Heartless. They might give you an item if you help them. I've defeated 58 of them. Black Fungi are hostile Heartless, unlike White Mushrooms. They attack with poison. Defeating them may bring good things, but it is not easy. Oh, I don't know, such as that, like, mushroom mold or whatever it was that sold for, like, well over 10k money. I've defeated 37 of them. Rare Truffles are non-attacking Heartless that are rarely found. They like to jump, so helping them stay in the air may bring good things. I've defeated 14 of them. Rare Truffles are your primary mystery goo farm. The pink Agaricus is a colossal Heartless called forth by euphoric white mushrooms. A dancer by nature, once it starts dancing, it can't stop. I've defeated 4 of them. The Dark Side is an enormous Heartless that appeared in Destiny Islands with Shadows. It led the Shadows in the battle against Sora when he first received the Keyblade. Although Sora defeated it, the island was swallowed by the darkness. And it has no bodily center. Or lower body center, at least. It doesn't even have a crotch. The guard armor is a leader of the Heartless in Traverse Town. It falls apart when it receives damage, but each part attacks individually. Sora meets Donald and Goofy for the first time just before fighting this Heartless. And it was reskinned for the Final Mix version. The red armor has the original skin, kind of. The red armor is a giant Heartless similar to the guard armor. It splits into the armor, torso, gauntlets, and hammer legs, each with the ability of individual movement. Each body part can be found heading a team in the Coliseum tournament. Tournaments, you should be saying. The opposite armor is a Heartless that guards the keyhole in Traverse Town. It is a modified form of guard armor, but is more powerful. The Trickmaster is a Heartless that Sora and company encounter while they search for Alice. Searched for Alice. Its herky-jerky attacks and juggling act flustered Sora and the others. This was also reskinned. The Stealth Sneak is a Heartless that attuned to the darkness in Clayton's heart. It somehow manipulated the light to turn invisible and fought alongside Clayton. The Sneak Army is a Heartless similar to, but more powerful than the Stealth Sneak. They stay hidden and attack with nimbly darting around. Though even one is hard to handle, a pair can be found participating in the Coliseum tournament. I've defeated 12 of them. The Pot Centipede is a Heartless called by Jafar to stop Aladdin. Its long body is composed of a number of pot spiders linked together. Even if its body comes apart, it can regenerate itself by gathering other pots. The Parasite Cage is a Heartless that appeared inside Monstro. It's known to swallow its enemies. Sora and the others rescued Pinocchio, who was trapped inside it. God, these grammar errors are annoying. Kurtziza is a Heartless that emerged from the keyhole opened by the princesses. It swung its 6 powerful arms to attack Sora and company and block their attacks, but Sora sought out its weakness and emerged the victor. The Phantom is a ghost-like Heartless that haunted the clock tower standing far away from Neverland. Fluttering its eerie cloak, it cast a spell to take Sora's heart. Having no physical body, regular attacks were useless, but in the end, Sora and company discovered its weakness and prevailed. This was also reskinned. It used to have like a dark blue cloak. Now we can read Anson's reports. Much of my life has been dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge. That knowledge has guarded this world well. Not a soul doubts that. I am blessed with my people's smiles and respect. But though I am called a sage, there are things I do not understand. I believe darkness sleeps in every heart, no matter how pure. Given the chance, the smallest drop can spread and swallow the heart. I have witnessed it many times. Darkness. Darkness of the heart. How is it born? How does it come to affect us so? As a ruler of this world, I must find the answers. I must find them before the world is lost to those taken by the darkness. It is my duty to expose what this darkness really is. I shall conduct the following experiments. Extract the darkness from a person's heart. Cultivate darkness in a pure heart. Or suppress and amplify the darkness within. The experiments cause the test subjects' hearts to collapse, including those of the most stalwart. How fragile our hearts are. My treatments produce no signs of recovery. I confined those who had completely lost their hearts beneath the castle. Sometime later, I went below and was greeted by the strangest sight. Creatures that seemed born of darkness. What are they? Are they truly sentient beings? Could they be the shadows of those who lost their hearts in my experiments? The shadows that crawl beneath the castle. Are they the people who lost their hearts, or incarnations of darkness? Or something entirely beyond imagination? All my knowledge has provided no answer. One thing I am sure of is that they are entirely devoid of emotion. Perhaps further study will unlock the mysteries of the heart. Fortunately, there's no shortage of test samples. They are multiplying underground even as I write this report. They still need a name. Those who lack hearts. I will call them the Heartless. The Heartless appear in groups and are multiplying rapidly. I've provided them both living and non-living samples. They've responded only to the living. They seem to multiply after absorbing something from the living creatures. Their prey vanishes without a trace. I believe the Heartless are taking hearts. They are born from those who've lost their hearts and thrive on hearts seized from others. The hearts taken by the Heartless become heartless themselves. Though I lack proof, I am confident in this hypothesis. I must also study their behavioral principles. Though they lack emotions, they do seem to have some intelligence. How to communicate with them? It just occurred to me. Could they be the darkness in people's hearts? To study heartless behavior, I picked one out for observation. It wiggled its antenna and, as if sensing a target, headed deep into the castle. In the deepest part of the castle, its antenna began vibrating, as if searching for something. Suddenly, a strange door appeared. I'd never known of its existence. It had a large keyhole but didn't seem to be locked, so I opened the door. What I saw on the other side mystified me. What was that powerful mass of energy? That night, I observed a great meteor shower in the sky. Could it be related to the door that I have opened? A massive core of energy lay beyond the door sought by the Heartless. It may well be the ultimate goal of all Heartless. But what is that energy? I have devised a hypothesis based on my observations of the Heartless. The Heartless feed on others' hearts, and they yearn for that energy core. That thing beyond the door must be a heart too, the heart of this world. There is no proof, but, having felt that immense energy, I am certain that was the heart of the world. The Heartless are trying to take hearts not only from all living creatures, but from the world itself. But what do they mean to do with the heart of the world? I am now studying material from the meteors that rained down that fateful night. What a find! The material is foreign to our world. It is elastic to the touch, and when two pieces are combined, they bond easily. None of the records I've scoured even mention such a substance. Was it introduced to this world when I opened that door? I wonder how many other such materials drift through the atmosphere of this tiny world. I wish I could soar off and find out. Could there be uncharted worlds up there? My curiosity never ceases to grow. But I should stop speaking of such unrealistic dreams. For now, there is no way to venture outside this world. My people and I are all but prisoners of this tiny place. There is no doubt that the Heartless are deeply connected to people's hearts. Further study may unravel both their motivations and the mysteries shrouding the heart. As a start, I have built a device that artificially creates Heartless. By recreating the conditions that spawn the Heartless naturally, I should be able to produce them artificially. This device is the culmination of all my research thus far. The machine's test run successfully created a Heartless. This may be a step toward creating a heart from nothing. The artificially and naturally created Heartless showed nearly identical traits, but the two types should remain distinct for the purposes of this experiment. So I will mark the ones that are created artificially. Simply astonishing. Today I had a guest from another world. He is a king, and his vessel is built of the material that composed the meteors. He called the pieces gummy blocks. It seemed that my opening that door has opened a path to interworld travel. We talked for countless hours, but one story in particular caught my interest. That of a key called the Keyblade. The Keyblade is said to hold phenomenal power. One legend says its wielder saved the world, while another says that he wrought chaos and ruin upon it. I must know what this Keyblade is. A key opens doors. It must be connected to the door that I have opened. Just as people have hearts, so do worlds. The same can be said of the stars in the night sky. And deep within each world lies the door to its heart. The Heartless desire those hearts. Born out of the darkness in people's hearts, they seek to return to a greater heart. Yes, that's it. The Heartless come from people's hearts, as does the darkness. Is the core of the world's heart the world of the Heartless? I will pursue the answer there and become all-knowing. My path is set. I shall seek out the wielder of the Keyblade and the princesses. My body is too frail for such a journey, but I must do this. I'll cast it off and plunge into the depths of darkness. Opening the door to a world's heart causes its walls to crumble. These fragments are seen as shooting stars. This explains why these gummy blocks can travel freely to other worlds. I know the catalyst of this collapse, the appearance of the Heartless. However, it will take time to search out the world's doors and to retrieve each heart. Furthermore, The doors can be locked using a keyblade, making the heart forever unattainable. I must take action before the wielder of this key appears in this world. If the princesses and the keyblade are connected, they should resonate. I've chosen a girl. I don't know if she holds the princess's powers, but I will find out. She may lead me to the key bearer. I shall set her free and observe. I was talking about Kairi. The body is gone. The heart should have returned to the heartless, and yet nothing. This one is unlike any other. Its memories remain, and it is yet to take the form of a heartless. A close eye must be kept on the situation. Much is still unknown. To get to the realm of darkness, one must go through the doors of Kingdom Hearts, the place where the world's hearts connect. Beyond this world is a place in which darkness reigns. Details shall be archived in a separate report. There are many worlds in existence, some of which we know nothing about. The world in which we live, the realm of darkness, the realm of light, and the world in between. Wherein lies true nirvana? Where does the body go when it separates from the heart? If the soul remains within the body, is it still considered to be deceased? When the heart returns to the heartless, the physical form disappears. But that is merely true in this world. Perhaps the body exists in another form in another world. If that is the case, then it is possible for one to exist in two worlds. A being that is neither darkness nor light, belonging nowhere, abandoned by its heart, a mere shell of its former self. The relation between the heart and body is complex. However, I am certain that if your self exists here, then by definition, the other cannot truly exist. The other, the one which does not exist, shall be dubbed Nobody. And that's the whole thing, the whole journal, read. I'm hoping that game audio was in fact recorded this time. And I shall see you guys